before we begin today, I actually want to take a little more of a look at what an amiibo actually is, for those who are a little confused, or for those who aren't into the amiibos. Basically, what an amiibo is, it is known as a near-field communication, or NFC figurine. What does that mean? It means it can make a radio communication between two different devices. In this case, for amiibos, it can communicate between a gamepad and the amiibo, or a new Nintendo 3DS and an amiibo. What does this do? Well, in the past, we've experienced NFC figurines as tie-ins for certain games. The trend started with a game called Skylanders, which is something that was such a big commercial success. I think we all know what it is. It was something I was actually interested in getting into, but then when amiibos were announced, I'm kind of glad it happened that way, and we're going to talk a lot about that today. I wanted to explain what an amiibo is because basically, as you can see here, I can register my Wii U for many uses in many different games, unlike a lot of other NFC games. So, I really wanted to talk about what effects it had, because this has made more money than anyone could ever imagine, and I think it's really exciting for me to have the collectible value in Nintendo, and we'll get to it. So let's begin the episode. It has been a long time in this series when I was the me. Hello everybody and welcome to another video game analysis. And today we're going to be looking into something I have such an obsession over, amiibos. This is a topic I wanted to tackle since the amiibos came out, but of course they came out during the winter. But until then, I've grown quite a collection. It's something I'm very proud of, and something a lot of my fellow Nintendo fans that I know are very proud of. There's an amiibo bug going on, there really is, but it's amazing how much amiibos just came and just collided with Nintendo's market. You know, it's made so much more money than Nintendo even anticipated, and it's causing a lot of problems and issues. But overall, it's created something for Nintendo fans to share it all over again. There's this whole new way for Nintendo to get our money, and it's really exciting to get a new amiibo. And I mean, there's so much more to it than just what it can do. And I really want to talk about some of the things that I've observed about the amiibos themselves. So, oh man, I'm really, as you can tell, I'm pretty excited for this one because I just love sharing my thoughts on amiibos because they are a little complex to understand at first, but they're very simple, like many other things Nintendo tries to do with their technology. So, why don't we get to our first section and talk a little bit about the culture? So what do I mean by culture? Well, you know, what's amazing about a fandom, as it's called, obviously in our community, in our video game community, is there's so many ways you can categorize fans. You know, Nintendo fans, Sony fans, Microsoft fans, and then within that, like let's take Sony, you have Vita fans, you have PS4 fans, you can have fans of Nintendo with Wii U fans, 3DS fans. Now we have Amiibo fans. You know, the Game Boy came out, that swarmed the nation. Pokemon came out, now we have Amiibos coming out. And of course, I'm not comparing Amiibos to Pokemania. I don't want to get that message out, but it's just another example of how a new part of a brand adding on to that can create so much excitement for people. And you know what? Talking to people on lines for stores, Wave 4 of Amiibo just came out recently, and I had a friend. I was at work, and I was really mad that I was at work, but she was nice enough to help me get some Amiibos, because she doesn't do anything. She wasn't doing anything that day, and she called and said, "I can't believe it," because she lives right across from a retail store that sells Amiibos, and said, it's 2 hours before the store opens, and there's a line going out the door. And I told her, you know, it's not easy to be an Amiibo hunter. See that term, Amiibo hunter? It's just a big part of the Amiibos. And, you know, it's like direct consequences of things like low shipments and hard to get figurines. It's something that Nintendo both didn't scale high enough because they didn't anticipate how much this was going to sell, but also the way that we use Amiibos. I'm sure there's people in this world that don't even use the Amiibos, just collect them for the collector's value. I open my boxes. I hate opening my boxes, but I want to use them because there's so many possibilities. this Amiibo tap thing, I really think explains the Amiibo culture so well, because it's Nintendo saying, hey, this is taking the world by storm, and we can use it to sell our products. Not only that, but we can do this in this nice, fun, creative way with Amiibo tap, where you tap an Amiibo, doesn't matter what it is, and it'll give you another game from either that franchise or another franchise. And it's all games in the Wii U eShop that if you like what you see, you can buy them. You have 9 scenes. Every time you tap an Amiibo, you get another scene. And, well, the same Amiibo from the same game. I tapped my Luigi Amiibo, and it gave me Super Mario World. And, you know, everyone's talking about Amiibos. I had a friend who said, I want to buy a Wii U, and I also would love to get into buying Amiibos, because collecting is such a big part of being a gamer, whether you realize it or not. Because people collect games. People want to collect hardware. And especially if you have a YouTube channel, which is becoming very prominent in the gaming industry. And it's just so much more... and I wouldn't say that Amiibos have completely... I wouldn't say Amiibos are a huge part of the gaming culture, but I would definitely say that it made its impact. And doesn't everything, you might ask? Yes, but the amount of time it took for these Amiibos to sell like it did is unbelievable. The fact that Nintendo couldn't even imagine how popular this would get. They were marketing this for young kids, but this ended up going for every Nintendo fan. Because in the end of the day, Nintendo or any brand name or fandom comes from the fact that they love the products. It's something that they love getting involved in because it's something they like. It's something they enjoy. And when you have figurines, I personally love figurines. I'm a huge fan of them. I have a lot more than Amiibo figurines in my room because I love having them. They remind me of something I really enjoy being a part of. Media and entertainment are such a big part of many Western cultures and you know, Eastern cultures too. But I'm just being stupid. Let's move on. No, I'm kidding. Wow, I've really got off the rails here. My point is, when there's such a buzz, people are talking about this. There is whole Twitter sites. I have a list made on my Twitter feed made up of Amiibo alert Twitter feeds that tell you when things are in stock and whatnot. I have nowinstock.net for the Amiibo page on my favorites list on my web browser. And I'm not alone here, you know. Even people who aren't that into it, or my friends, I tell them, look, you need at least one Amiibo to have a more full Wii U experience, because that's what it's done. It's added a whole new level of Amiibo experience, and that's something I'll talk about next. But for now, just know that the fact that we have so many people discussing Amiibos, sharing pains and not being able to find that character you want, being mad at the fact that we have some store exclusives for the character you want, because if you have a store exclusive, you'll never see it. The idea of the Amiibo hunter becoming a thing, and I can go on and on with the amount of stuff. When I was at a GameStop, I actually managed to get a Shulk Amiibo because the guy in the register told me it was available. Me and 2 other guys were running up to the desk, pretending to shove each other, like we're going to kill each other, and we were kidding, but there is that level of, I gotta get this. Oh my goodness, it's so cool, and I just have to be a part of it. I can just go, you know, I mean, I have a feeling that you would probably think that I'm exaggerating, but I'm really not. The amount of sales this thing has made, the imprint this has made on Nintendo's culture. Because when I think of a fandom, I want people to understand this. I think of it as a culture because it is a man-made thing. It is a share of a love for something. It has a set of, and yeah, it's not the most important culture in the world. It doesn't set like morals or anything like that, but it has that thought process. There's expectations of an Amiibo. Well, the reason why I'm putting a gold Mario Amiibo on the footage is not only so YouTube Content ID doesn't bother me like it's been doing, but for videos of commentary and education like I'm doing, but which is fair use, but also the gold Mario Amiibo I think is a symbol for the Amiibo hunter or for the Amiibo fan. Even the casual buyer will be on that Toys R Us line 2 hours before it opens, or GameStop 2 hours before it opens. I had a friend who's a employee at GameStop, and he was telling me I was swamped for the first couple hours, and then it was gone. For something to sell out that fast, even for figurines. This has never happened with Skylanders or Disney Infinity or anything like that, because this isn't just about one single game. This is about a whole fandom, and that mirrored reflection really works well with the Nintendo fan base to collect these amiibos. So I'm going to go to the beginning here and show off a little bit of the beginning of amiibos. Yes, the first game the amiibos have been introduced for is Super Smash Bros. For both Wii U and 3DS. Of course, I couldn't use amiibos in 3DS until the new 3DS came out. Hopefully that portal comes out for regular 3DS owners. But anyway, amiibos. Like I said in the before, I think a big part of the popularity is the fact that this doesn't pertain to one game. This, as Super Smash Bros., this pedigree of popularity, it's the perfect game to introduce people to the concept of amiibos. There's two types of amiibos. What we're seeing right now is what's called the Write amiibo, WRITE amiibo, where you place an amiibo and it stores memory. In this case, how much experience you leveled up your amiibo, being the max 50, to fight in Smash Brothers. How smart it is as a fighter. Also, what skins you have, what customs you might have on it, etc. And that's something really cool. And you realize, well, maybe I wouldn't want to collect all that for these games. I mean, I love the character. I'll buy this character. Or you'll be like me, a nut that wants to collect them all. Good luck with that. But even if you are just a casual buyer, again, I'll say this: every amiibo, every Wii U owner should own at least one or two amiibos. Just get that full experience, because you get experiences like this, a whole new game mode. Same thing with Mario Party 10 recently with Amiibo Party. That is another Write game. We're also going to, the next game we're also going to be looking at is a Read game. A Read game is just when the Amiibo gives the game something. Just scanning it in. You don't have to erase anything that you've written, because Amiibo can only hold one game at a time. Just scanning it will give you a present or an extra bonus content of the game. For example, the recently released Splatoon. It has its own set of 3 amiibos, and what it does is when it is scanned in, the amiibo will give you a bonus solo mission that you can't play in normal game. On top of that, it's not a lot of missions, and it pulls off giving you custom, I'm sorry, exclusive gear for your Inkling that you can't get anywhere else. Now, something that might annoy people because of the history of DLC is the fact that, well, why would they keep this from me in the game? Why would I have to pay for it? Well, for one thing, anyone could pick up a quick Mario amiibo to get this kind of stuff. I'm just saying there are a lot of commons. The Super Mario Bros. Set for Mario Party 10 is very common if you want to play Amiibo Party. But also, I think Nintendo so far has done a good job in keeping things from being completely optional. Not something you have to play to 100% the game, but something you can add on to it. And that's the potential NFC figurines had with Skylanders or Pokemon Rumble U or Disney Infinity, was the fact that I personally, as someone who observed it from the outside, never really got into it, thought, I don't really want to collect these figures, because where am I going to put them? I don't want to display them. Because again, I'm a figure nut, and I'm a big stickler for figures in general. And I want to collect Nintendo characters. I love Nintendo. I'm a big part of the fan base. And on top of that, I want to experience more content in my games. Nintendo does a great job with their DLC, and now they have what I like to call amiibos, DLC you can fit in your hand. You can carry it around with you. I have 3 carrying cases for these things. I and many other people I know have grown such an attachment to them and such a want to collect them. And to enjoy them in video games and to share them with other Wii U's is really fun, as you've seen might see in the Bickering Gamers Brawl video I did. It is so much fun to train and fight with an amiibo, or fight an amiibo with your friend's amiibo. The sharing is fun, Not only with the video games themselves adding content, what's cool about Write games over Read games is not only Read games give you bragging rights. It's like, look at all the me costumes I have in Mario Kart 8, or look, I have the spinner in Hyrule Warriors because I scanned my Link amiibo. The amiibos, which take on so many different shapes and forms, thanks to the Yarn Yoshi amiibo and the amiibo cards for Animal Crossing, the mass popularity of these things, with the iconic characters and everything, it's something to share. How great your collection is, showing an amiibo no one's ever even seen in person before. I had Triple M, one of my friends. He has this Little Mac amiibo. I'm like, oh my goodness, I cannot believe I'm seeing this. It's like It's so exciting. It's so fun to share with people, not only the figures themselves, but the progress you made with the games themselves. I mean, when I share all my level 50 amiibos with people, fighting against their level 50 amiibos with people, it's another way to share content. It's another way to experience the game. And basically, it goes down to two things: bragging rights and a little more for your buck, rather than just buying a game. You have a little more to push it with, you know. It just, even if it's the smallest of things, it's a lot of fun. Well, you know, speaking of the smallest of things, I think there's nothing more petty in my amiibo desires within video games is trying to get all the me costumes in Mario Kart 8. One of the favorite videos I ever uploaded to YouTube from this game is the when I had the Captain Falcon suit and I was playing in in the Blue Falcon, you know, racing in the F-Zero tracks. And I don't know. I'm almost done. I'm gonna borrow a Wario amiibo from a friend of mine to get that, and I have Toad. I just haven't opened it yet. Other than that, you know, I'm gonna have to do some more hunting. It's like, and to me, it's okay to have such petty thoughts. Like, you know, it's all in good fun. That's what I think, and I think Nintendo pulled off with Amiibos exactly what they wanted to, even though it went way above their expectations. And you know they're seeing this now. You know, for a big company to realize, oh man, we really got to talk to people about this. You know, they want to do this. They want to start being more um, assertive with remaking amiibos and sending them out in waves and letting us know when those waves come out. Um, it's really fun to talk about amiibos. You know, to discuss like where the rare ones are, how to get them. You know, I myself have tried to have the strategy of having a 25. No, I'm sorry, a $35 limit when I'm buying online, and every time I find a meal I don't have in stores, I'm jumping on that. You know, I gotta get lucky one day and go in when the stock comes back up. The amiibos themselves, you know, it's something you can hold and be amazed by, but it's also something that's in your video game, you know? That's not something that's done very often. That's what I think NFC figurines with Skylanders and Disney Infinity were doing, but not to the level of the amiibo, where it just goes so far as to be part of your console rather than part of one game series. And you know, I'm not trying to say the other NFC figurines are bad. It's like Nintendo's first introduction to NFC figures were Pokemon Rumble U, and honestly, I never hear much from Pokemon Rumble U. I never do. I tried the original game, wasn't big on it, but you know, again, it's like you know, if these look more like real Pokemon, and believe me, the craftsmanship in these amiibos are absolutely incredible. When I get a Pokemon amiibo, it looks great. Of course, the only Pokemon I have right now is Pikachu, but you know, semantics. Um, I can go on and on about how great amiibos are, but I think in the end of the day, you can just ask any Nintendo fan you have around you, as any friend you have that plays the Wii U or the new 3DS. I'm sure somebody who just owns a new 3DS and not a Wii U collects amiibos too, but you know, I mean, speaking of which, you know, third-party people are getting into this. I've seen, I forgot what third-party game it was, but it was a third-party game that had Amiibo support. There's Amiibo support for 3DS games as well as Wii U games. You know, they're making an Amiibo for Chibi Robo, and you know, again, let's get back to the pettiness. I actually might buy. This is actually maybe the first Chibi Robo game I ever buy. Not only does it look like a good game, it was very recently announced. The day I record this is June 1st, actually, the same day the Micro Direct came out, and I was very impressed with how Chibi Robo looked. I always wanted to get into the series, and even though this isn't a traditional Chibi Robo game, I'm really interested. And I'm going to be honest, mostly because I want to get that Chibi Robo amiibo, because not only does it look good, but it's just more to add to my collection. Oh my goodness, it's such a petty thing. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's part of the amiibo culture. You know, you get excited. Like any fandom, you get excited for a new game or a new amiibo. You get excited to be part of something, to be able to talk to people the same feelings you have over this piece of plastic that you can scan into a gamepad or a 3DS. And one thing that was fun about playing Smash Brothers or Mario Kart 8 with these amiibo functionalities is just having something different that other people might not have. And at the same time, having as much you can pack into a game as you humanly can without nickel and diamond anybody or without making it necessary to beat the game completely. it's a really cool thing, and a culture of amiibos. It sounds weird, but I think it makes sense when you talk to your friends who also like amiibos, like to collect amiibos. Even if they're not that into it, there's a value that you can easily see. So that's all I have to say about the amiibos and how they affected gamers who were into Nintendo and amiibos in general. I have not seen any Nintendo fan yet without at least one amiibo. With that though, guys, next time I actually want to go back to the Earthbound series, and we're gonna talk about the fandom of the Earthbound series, and maybe I'll get a little more of my feelings about how a fandom works to me. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this one because I've had a lot of fun talking with you guys, and yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. I didn't stop this voiceover because of the video picture thing, but if you if I made any mistakes, if there's anything I left out, if there's anything you'd like to add to the conversation, please do not hesitate to leave a comment. Um, and yeah, thank you all so much for watching. I've been Billy, your video game analyzer. Have a good day, good night, whenever you're watching this, and I'll see you next time.